All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm obviously not dialing in from Cannes. Doesn't look like anyone else is too. But obviously that's going on this week. And then today's hangout, we wanted to talk about, just what's kind of happening in the news, what's on our minds in the world of tech, brands, marketing. And one thing interesting that I read yesterday coming out of Cannes was that PhD released a book this week called Sentience, the Coming of AI and its Implications for Marketing. And I think AI and cyber consciousness is something that has been on all our minds in the office lately. We had some movie reviews coming in for Ex Machina across the group. We saw that Digital Genius, a customer service startup in the AI space that helps brands have millions of conversations at one time, received $3 million in funding. So a lot has been going on in the artificial intelligence space, and I think it's something that's been on all our minds. Specifically, something that was interesting that I wanted to bring up and hear what everyone's opinion was our use of Crystal. And obviously, one of the first forms of kind of mass penetration of AI that we're seeing comes in the form of the virtual personal assistant, the VPA. Crystal, if anyone hasn't tried that yet, is sort of a form of that. It's a tool that helps you write better emails and communicate and respond to people based on an analysis of their personality that the AI algorithm performs by looking through all of their published data online. So by looking at their LinkedIn, by looking at Facebook, Twitter, social, any data, email that you plug into Crystal, it will perform an analysis and bucket you into one of 64 different personality types, and then start to create rules for people to respond and communicate with you that will hopefully help them better connect with you. And kind of the immediate thought that comes to mind is, wow, this really sounds like a sales tool. Help someone better sell to me by knowing, well, when you write emails to Gina, use a lot of analogies. Give a lot of examples. Or when you write emails to Lauren, make sure you use emoticons. She really responds well to emoticons. So Crystal kind of launched in beta, I think, last month. A lot of people have been trying it out. A lot of people have been first doing it on themselves to kind of see, well, is that right? Do I think that really is me? Am I that type of personality? As well as test it on other people. So I tried it. I thought it was semi-accurate in terms of how people should communicate with me, being very straight to the point, short, terse sentences, although now it probably doesn't sound like I'm very short and to the point. But in terms of communication, I haven't used it to try to communicate with people, but I'm very curious to see if it can help me save time, if it's something that I might want to test out. So did you guys try it? Have any of
Well,
you?
let's be honest. You don't need AI to determine that my emails to me need to be short, and you need to use capitals in the subject header. So, like, I don't know if I want to give them too much credit. I don't know if I'm going to write a check for $20 million for them just yet. But, I don't know. I mean, a lot of it was accurate with me. But, there's a word that I'm hearing a lot when I hear startup founders pitch, which I just love the word, which is automagically. And the thing about technology is, there's probably a lot of stuff that's happening in our lives. It's stuff that just happened. We take it for granted now, and it's unbelievable how it's changed our lives and made our lives better or faster or sped up, whatever the case may be. So, the thing is, AI is one of those things, like, to me, like virtual worlds that are, we kind of get it, but we don't really get it. I mean, we can grasp it, but I think we're like a little bit kind of ebbed out by it in a sense, which is, although, I mean, again, with my Apple Watch, I mean, the improvements have been unbelievable, where with my South African accent, Siri gets it right 97% of the time. It's unbelievable. And also just little things are happening that are just on the watch that, I don't know, is that AI or is it just, better UI? I mean, maybe that's the interesting point, right? Is it AI or is it UI, or does it even matter? And at some point, all this AI stuff will be as natural to us, I guess, as the Google search was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. And I think when we see personalization, it starts to creep from UI into AI when it knows kind of your very specific personal preferences and decides to respond. That's starting to get into the AI territory. There was a good interview on NPR about Crystal and on New Tech City, and they were talking about its creepy factor, and that maybe there needs to be disclosures and opt-ins for people to know that an email response that came to them, this was written by Crystal, because people were feeling like, well, I feel like I have a right to know when it's a machine versus a person that I'm actually talking to. That's the Digital Genius company that just got the funding. When you go to talk to Unilever and BMW, or two of their clients, when you go to ask them some basic questions through customer service, you may be speaking to a machine versus an actual person, and would you want to know? So I think the creepiness factor and the whole ethical debate is really interesting around AI right now. There was another article actually this morning that was about from The Guardian, and the title, because it was so good, was Ethics for Artificial Intelligence: How Can I Stop My Robot from Cooking My Cat? And the idea there was that these, especially around Internet of Things and these personal assistants, and AI is going to start recognizing our preferences and our values, and starting to realize, oh, every morning if this human pours hot water over those brown crystals, it makes them happy. That's coffee. It's a ritual for them in the morning. But if they are hungry and they run out of meat, should I cook the cat because the cat's meat and they like eating meat and they're hungry? But it was more of a general kind of analogy for how do we teach these AI ethics and rules, and when do we? And that's something that may sound really far out, but the article talks about the fact that we're already seeing this debate happen in real life when it comes to motor vehicles. So General Motors is releasing a car that uses AI to steer, to brake, to signal when you're going over 70 miles per hour. It's kind of just like super cruise control. And so there's been discussions that, okay, well, if my car's about to go to hit a tunnel and a kid runs in front of the street, do I swerve and hit and kill the kid, or do I swerve and hit the tunnel and kill myself? So these are things that these scientists have to program in now and think about as they're building these self-driving cars, because it's going to make a difference whether you're driving. So I think the whole ethical debate feels far out, but it's actually happening right now in something like motor vehicles around AI. So I don't know.
You kill the cat, obviously.
I mean, they're delicious.
You get a dog. You get a dog. But you know what? Going.
The other thing, back to talking about. I don't know if you can hear me.
Today we're technically challenged, not ethically challenged.
Yeah, we're a little technically challenged.
You're fading in and out.
We can hear you, Joe.
Oh, okay. So I'll jump back in. I was going to say that, what's interesting to me when you go back to Crystal is, I think that there is some amazing, B2B implications, especially from a contact management standpoint. So, for example, I mean, Gina and I spend maybe, I'd say, 80% of our job description now is chasing people, especially clients. So, there is this idea of being able to say, you sent an email to Joseph Jaffe. He typically, if he doesn't respond within 3 minutes, he may not respond. The best time to email him is between 6 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. The best time to wait between emails is 6.2 days. I mean, I think there's some really great opportunities for that, and you could look at productivity and reminders, even in terms of just managing our own lives or our tasks or to-dos. So in that sense, I think, creepiness is such a subjective statement. You know, I was actually
Would you
discussing it
mind, though? Would you mind if someone was using that tool to figure out how to get you to respond?
I wouldn't care because, well, you see, this is the point. So last week I spent a lot of time with two huge CPG brands, and just the topic came up, which was the very, very first article I ever wrote in my entire life was called "I'd rather beg for forgiveness than ask for permission." And after I published it, was on ClickZ. Seth Godin was the first comment on that, and he like tore me a new, you know what, basically, how could you say this and you're so wrong? I mean, the guy just written the book Permission Marketing. So my whole point was, I would rather, I'd rather get the creepy email that is completely relevant, completely useful, offers me utility and value. In other words, I didn't opt in to receive this email, but boy oh boy, is there something that is awesome for me. Then all of this fakery that we kind of, that's the opposite of automagic, right? Where we basically go out and we fill out a registration form, and right at the bottom is a little box that's already been checked in to like almost say, oh, guess what, I gave permission. I didn't give you permission to spam me. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just offering a bit of a devil's advocate counter.
No, I think that's really interesting. I think your point is also value first, and then let's kind of worry about the details after. And I think for tools and utilities, that absolutely makes sense. I think for probably bigger, more serious AI like self-driving cars or cyber clones, we probably need to consider the creepiness before they start to take over the world.
I think just the final point that I want to make. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo, so I'll try and say this quickly. So just maybe if others can mute themselves. Yeah, that's where it was. What is creepy today may not have been, may not be creepy in the future, right? What was creepy yesterday is not creepy today. So I think that's one exhibit. The other exhibit comes down to, ethics. And I think when it comes down to ethics and morality and making decisions, it's not even so much that the machine cooks our cat. It's the fact that we may make the wrong decisions because of the machine. So I think these are the right discussions to have, and the sooner we have them, the better. In terms of, I mean, you could even just, again, from the sublime to the ridiculous, go back and talk about programmatic and talk about, just talk about how so much of advertising is becoming automated in a sense, and talk about whether or not that's, I don't know. I mean,
Uh-oh, he's frozen for me. I don't know about you guys. Oh, all right. Well, I think on that note, with all of our technical difficulties, hopefully we'll find some AI to help us better launch the Hangout in the future. But lots of good stuff coming out about AI. Definitely check out that PhD book. Virtually Human by Martine Rathblatt is an interesting read right now. And the Guardian article about having robots not kill your cat. So thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.